Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, October 28th. So we have the moon in Sagittarius all day. It should be a better day with the moon in Sag compared to yesterday. Of course, we had Mercury square Pluto yesterday, really kind of putting a wrench into the good vibes, the higher frequencies that the moon in Sag usually brings us. So now that we are kind of free and clear of that, we are definitely going to be tapping into the positive aspects of the moon being in Sag, which means that we are trying to be optimistic. We are gaining our confidence. We're trying to renew our spirits, our faith, our energy, our beliefs, and we are trying to focus on the bigger, brighter picture. Of course, trying to identify the path, the direction that we are wanting to take. We are looking to explore outside of our comfort zones. We are looking to kind of put ourselves out there in a different way. We are looking to just have a little bit of a different adventure and, of course, gain a different understanding, a different perspective of some of the situations, the topics, the themes that came up for us while the moon was in Scorpio, of course, triggered by that new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio that we just had on the 25th. So today we have a little bit going on, seeing as Jupiter is going to be retrograding back into Pisces energy. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so. And this is the last day of Mercury being in Libran energy. We are preparing for Mercury to do a deep dive into that Scorpio energy here on Saturday. So you can go ahead and listen to that astro forecast as well. Other than Jupiter making his move back into Pisces, we have all different moon aspects. There are 12 different aspects taking place here today. 11 of them involve the moon. Dare we deem this a moon day? We may just do that. It is going to be a little bit of a process of refinement on what it is that we are thinking, dreaming up, conjuring up, wanting to manifest. We are going to kind of go through the different aspects that are going to help us figure out where it is that we need to focus our time, our energy, our attention. So at 1:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is when Jupiter moves back into Pisces energy at that 29th degree. This is almost a refresher, if you will, taking us back to March, April of this year. Of course, we had Jupiter kind of jump into Aries energy May 10th of this year. And so we are having to dip back into that Piscean energy. It will be a little bit refreshing, if you will, giving us a chance to reconnect with our higher selves, with our dreams, with our visions, with our creativity. And we are going to be processing a lot of the things that have already taken place in our lives, especially some of the deep, dark, transformative karmic situations that have been really thrown at us. We're going to be able to process that with a little bit more depth, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more empathy, a little bit more compassion. Shortly after, we have the moon in Sagittarius semi-squaring, which is a little bit of a tension point with Pluto, the great transformer. Now, the tension point is needed in order for us to really see what is changing or what needs to be changed. Now, Pluto likes to do a deep dive in the psyche, likes to show us where in our emotions and where in our psyche we kind of have to reframe some things. We are doing a dabble in the darkness in order to reframe that into a sense of power. And right now, because the moon in Sag is overly optimistic, overly confident, trying to kind of zoom in on the big picture, the big dream, the big goal, the big vision on what it is that we want to do, there's some blockages that we have to address. And that's likely in our mental plane. Again, we just had this cluster F of a mental plane issue here yesterday between Mercury and Pluto, and the moon in Sag is semi-squaring Pluto, bringing up some of these topics and themes where it is that we feel blocked from actually establishing a direction, where it is that we're feeling blocked in raising our frequency and vibration to the optimistic confidence that we need to have. And Pluto is going to illuminate for us those darker parts of our thoughts, of our emotions, in order for us to have a second go at them. And of course, see from the bigger, greater, grander perspective on how we can kind of flip them to work for us instead of against us. We have the moon semi-squaring Mercury as well. Again, Mercury and Pluto just kind of went head to head here yesterday, creating a lot of mental tension, creating a lot of cluster Fs in our communication. We're obsessed, we're fixated on one particular topic and theme, one message, one opinion, one idea, and we really want everybody to agree with us. And of course, it didn't go down like that. So now that Mercury is kind of nearing the final degrees of Libra, it is going to be hard to feel peace and balance and stability. It is going to be very hard to come to a certain decision. Of course, that Libran energy, very indecisive. Now, the moon is our heart space in Sagittarius, a fire energy, wanting to build us back up. While Mercury over here in Libran energy at the final degrees is kind of in a situation where we're going back and forth. There's times when we are positive, when we are building ourselves up, when we are aligning with new ideas, aligning with the narrative that we need to have in order to encourage and support us to actually move forward and initiate a new path, a new direction. And then, of course, we flip-flop and we jump to the dark side. We start picking ourselves apart and speaking fears and doubts and insecurities into our plan. So right now, our heart and head are not in the best of agreements. We have the moon trining, which is a beautiful energy, with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. We get some fire on fire action here. This is a beautiful thing because fire burns through the blockages, cuts through the cords, if you will, and gives us a brand new spark, a brand new perspective, a brand new energy, excitement, in order to push ourselves forward. Because Chiron is a factor here, we're looking at our wounds. We're looking at the things that have really, really been troubling us. We're also, because this is a trine, taking a good look from the observer mentality, because of course, that's what Sag is all about, is giving us that greater, grander perspective and vision. We can see the big picture of why certain things had to happen. And Chiron is essentially showing us the amount of work that we've already done, the amount of growth that we've already kind of gotten under our belts, the improvements that we've made, the energy, the effort that we've put into rebuilding ourselves, reinventing ourselves, rebranding ourselves, so to speak. And of course, you know, this is the hype girl type of energy coming from the moon in Sag, really boosting up our confidence, making us a little bit optimistic about what is to come, and really celebrating all that it is that we've already gone through. The moon in Sag is going to bump into the true node in not the nicest way, though, and then shortly after, we will be bumping into Uranus in the same way, which is not so pleasant. And let me tell you, this is going to create a lot of emotional chaos, a lot of confusion on what this path moving forward is actually going to look like. We're confused about our plans. We're uncertain about a lot. Again, keep in mind, Mercury in the final degrees of Libran energy is really going to add an extra layer of intensity to the confusion, to the uncertainty, to the indecisiveness that we've already been feeling. The true node is our soul's path, our destiny's point. And right now we're having a hard time trying to identify what the next step is. Even if we're able to have a greater, grander picture, a greater, grander goal or vision of what it is that we would like to see manifest in our lives, we're still having a hard time piecing together the logical, practical plan that we need to actually implement and follow in order to actually get there. Uranus comes into play, and he is the great awakener. He usually gives us a lot of aha moments, a lot of inspiration, a lot of blips of the greater, grander vision that we need to be working towards. But this is an awkward energy here, which tells me that there's a lot more confusion than there is clarity. There's a lot more emotional chaos than there is stability. And the way that this is presenting, it wouldn't surprise me if there is some kind of wrench thrown into our plans. Maybe your routine got disrupted. Maybe your plans got thrown out the window. Maybe there's a wild card event coming at you. Maybe there's something unexpected that pops off in your life that just totally, catches you off guard. This is very much the Uranian energy. And this is, again, because it's not the nicest aspect, this is going to create a little bit more jitteriness, a little bit more nervousness, a little bit more restlessness than anything else. This isn't a positive energy. And I would say that this is going to kind of take the wind out of our confidence, take the wind out of our self-esteem, take a wind out of our vision, out of our dreams. Now, the moon is going to help us out with a sextile, which is a great energy with Saturn, who is now direct in Aquarius energy. So what we got going on here is that we are rising to the challenge. We know that there's new roles and responsibilities asking for our attention. We know that we're entering into new karmic contracts. We know we have to get down to the nitty-gritty and actually start taking action to build new realities, new foundations, new systems, new structures in our lives, especially where boundaries are concerned, so that we can pursue what it is that our heart and soul is asking us to pursue without being derailed by what it is that we think other people are going to think of us, or what it is that we think other people expect of us. That's been the last 5.5 months of life lessons coming from Mr. Karma himself. So what we're getting here is a positive outlook at the roles and responsibilities that we're now having to step up and move into. We are a little bit logical, a little bit practical in our approach on how it is that we are going to tackle moving up, ranking up, if you will, leveling up in our physical realms with the roles and responsibilities being thrown at us. The moon goes ahead and makes a positive interaction with the true node, which tells me that we are kind of sorting things out. We are, again, from the Saturn energy, realizing what it is we got to get to work in building. And just by realizing what it is that we have to kind of boss up and step into is giving us a little bit of a plan, a little bit of an inclination, a little bit of a puzzle piece on what our first next move should be. That is the true node's whole mission and purpose, is to get us on this right path so that we can reach our soul's potential, we can reach our mission, we can reach our purpose. And because things have been very confusing as of late, keep in mind, we're still in eclipse energy here. We are very slow to start piecing together the actual plan, the actual strategy that we need to take in order to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon will semi-square the sun. This is always an awkward interaction. And reason being, the moon is our emotions, our intuition, very connected to the past, where it is that we're coming from. The sun is shining a light on our consciousness, what it is we have to be aware of, what it is that we have to actively pursue in the here and now in order to achieve certain elements, certain topics, certain themes moving forward, very much where it is that we desire to be. Keep in mind that word that I just said, desire. Scorpio season, we're in it. And Scorpio season is about defining what it is that we desire. And when we define what it is that we actually desire, then suddenly we get illuminated to our deepest, darkest fears. What is going to prevent us from actually pursuing what it is that we've identified that we actually desire? So because the moon is in Sagittarius, it is likely that what is blocking us, where our deepest, darkest fears are coming up, blocking us from going after our desires, is our belief system. Sagittarian energy is all about the higher self, all about spirituality, all about the higher philosophies in life. We need to kind of tap into our higher selves to see from the observer mentality, what's going on here. And because this is a semi-square, this is a little bit of a tension, which shows us, emotionally speaking, where it is that there's a disconnect, what it is that is actually disconnecting us from being able to pour our time, energy, and attention into basically going after what it is that we now desire, what it is that we have a passion, an intense passion in Scorpio season to pursue. So we have this moon interaction with the sun, and this is going to illuminate our old belief system and what it is that we have to align with as far as new beliefs go, really kind of kicking a lot of those fears, a lot of those doubts and insecurities to the curb in order for us to actively be able to pursue what it is that is now activating a new passion and a new desire within us. The moon goes ahead and semi-squares Venus. Keep in mind the sun and Venus, both in Scorpio energy. They're moving very closely through Scorpio energy together. We just had them conjunct in the new moon energy of Scorpio. And so this semi-square as well is acting as a little bit of a pressure point. Again, coming down to belief systems. What do we actually believe that we deserve, right? Venus is all about worth and confidence and self-esteem. Yes, she is about relationships and money matters, but the relationships that she involves herself with and the money matters that she has, good or bad, is a direct reflection of how it is that she feels about herself, her worthiness, her value, what it is she thinks she actually deserves. So this particular interaction is going to put a little bit of a cluster F between our emotions and between what it is that we actually believe we are worthy of, what we actually deserve. Yes, it's one thing to figure out what it is that we're actually passionate about, what it is we actually desire in our lives as far as relationships go, as far as finances go. But to realize what it is that we want may not be obtainable because of our belief system, because we actually do not believe that we deserve to be happy, that we deserve a healthy relationship, that we deserve financial abundance. It all comes down to looking at our beliefs. The moon is going to enter into a square, into the boxing ring with Neptune. This isn't going to be good, but it is necessary. A lot of this is because our realities have changed so much that maybe we have to re-edit our dreams. Now, Neptune is about our dreams, about our visions, about our soul self. It is about our spiritual health and wellness. And Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. And so there is this, I'm going to say, inner reorganization of what it is that we're being called to pursue, what it is that we're actually dreaming up, what it is we actually feel like we have a mission and a purpose to experience in life. Keep in mind, we're in Scorpio season. This is about transformation, especially through acknowledging the darker parts of our shadow selves. Keep in mind, we're in eclipse season, which means that we're at the mercy of the wild card energy of the universe, sorting us out and putting us on the path that we desire to be on. That's why there's such a conflict between the moon and Neptune right now, because the moon in Sag wants to hype us up, wants to see the great big vision and picture, wants us to have the confidence in the belief system in order to actually go after it, pursue it, manifest it, make it happen. Neptune's over here so freaking overwhelmed with all the changes, with all the energy, with all the emotions, that we're not able to align with our intuition. We're not able to actually align with the vision, with the dream that we kind of seen very clearly just a couple of weeks ago. So much has changed in our inner realm, in our physical landscape, that now we're really having to redesign, re-edit, re-visualize what it is that we want to pursue. The square, because its attention point, brings out, I'm going to say, the worst of both of these energies and aspects, which means that we're scatterbrained all as hell. We can't focus on anything. We're kind of hyped up, manic, if you will, but have no real direction to put that energy into. And because we're in this square, we're kind of losing touch with our intuition. We're not seeing the big picture. We're overwhelmed. We don't want to deal with life. We want to numb and disassociate and curl up in a ball and just kind of, sleep through these bad parts of adjustment period of transformation. So we are kind of reaching a situation with this particular aspect where we're not feeling so hot, we're not feeling so good, we're kind of losing the lackluster that we had earlier in the day. Now, lucky for us, we are going to end the day off on a positive note. This is between the moon and Uranus. So earlier we had not the nicest situation with Uranus. Well, Uranus is coming back for redemption. This is a positive interaction, which means that we are having an aha moment. We are having a new idea be downloaded within us. We are being inspired to actually take action and open up to change and make some moves in our lives. And the emotional chaos that we would have had earlier is kind of clearing. We are gaining a little bit of clarity. That's what the positive aspect of Uranus energy does, is it gives us a little bit of a glimpse on where it is that we need to focus our energy, where it is we have to make some changes, where it is we have to make some moves. So although there has been some tension-filled points here throughout the day, what we've been doing is trying to redefine our vision, our goal, and our dream.